This is the album that made me fall in love with Metallica. I remember distinctly being 10 years old, riding around in my brother's Buick. Oh, it was a shitty Buick. He had purchased some Metallica records when he went to the mall, which the mall for us was 30 minutes away was the nearest mall. That's how far out in the country we live. He first grabbed Reload, and then he got a hold of S&M. He would take those CDs and record them to tape so he could play them in the car while he drove way the fuck too fast on these roads, and we jammed out to metal really fucking loud. It was great. And as my love grew for Metallica and I got more and more into their music, they became this mystically awesome band whose music I was trying to reach for but would never be able to touch. They were the pinnacle for me. I aspired to be just like Metallica. And this album was kind of the pinnacle of their work for me. It still is, in my opinion. I was absolutely blown away by the arrangements, the power, the breadth of dynamic. And you have to keep in mind, when I was introduced to this album, this is my first time listening to most of the songs on there. I had engaged the S&M version of the songs first before I engaged the regular versions on album. When I was 15, I decided to go to the mall myself, and I got the DVD of the performance, and I decided, after watching that numerous times and seeing what they do and that raw passion, that this is what I want to do for a living. I want to be a musician. So how did this come about? Well, Michael Kamen, the guy who did the orchestral arrangements, he saw Metallica perform at the Grammys. I believe he said they were performing one. He got a chance to go backstage and meet them, and he was like, dude, this is badass, blah, 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 and this is a classical music guy saying, holy shit, this is badass as hell, guys, well done. So they got to talking, and they became friends of sorts, loose friends in a way. And Michael Kamen wound up making the orchestral arrangement for one of their songs on their next album. So that would be Nothing Else Matters on the Black Album. After doing that, the orchestral parts were really dipped low in the mix in comparison. And Michael's kind of I don't know how much I'm in love with that. So when he got to see them at the Grammys the next year, said, hey guys, yeah, that was pretty cool, but it seemed like it was pretty quiet. And they said, yo, check this out. And they had a version of Nothing Else Matters back in the 90s where it was just James on acoustic, James's voice, and the orchestra. And they said they absolutely loved this version. And Kamen had pitched the idea to them of doing a full concert with orchestral arrangement involved. And they were like, yeah, that'd be friggin' awesome. And 7 years later, it finally happens. I think that experience working with Michael on Nothing Else Matters, and also them working with Bob Rockmore, kind of helped them open up to the idea of experimentation. This was the first time they had ever done anything this experimental, and with the exception of that piece of trash Lou Reed album that they did, I think this is the most experimental thing they've ever done. God bless James, you are the table. Michael Kamen wound up bringing some roughs in a few days prior to rehearsals, and he made some adjustments to the arrangements based upon that. They went through some of the logistics of everything and then had 2 or 3 days of rehearsals, then Showtime. It was an intense schedule because Metallica are playing songs that they've played for years, and also they're relatively flexible, and Michael Kamen is such a consummate music professional. They were able to pull it off. They somehow made it happen. For that album, Michael Kamen is effectively a band member of Metallica. And that's pretty damn cool to say. The final product on this is absolutely incredible. This is one of the best live mixes I have ever heard. This is probably Lars's best snare sound I've ever heard. I'll be honest, I find that this album is best enjoyed if you're not familiar with the band's music at all and you go in with no expectations. I've talked about my buddy Lance on here a number of times. He's almost a septuagenarian, and he hated metal for most of his life until a few years back when my friend Tim introduced him to S&M, that record, and Lance never went back. He listened to nothing but S&M, I think, for 3 months straight. Specifically, the parts that I fall in love with are the phrasings of the string sections and the horn sections, the brass, just elevating these compositions to another plane of the ethereal that they weren't able to reach on their own. And the entire experience is something that I highly recommend taking in start to finish. It is a double disc or a double DVD. Oh, definitely watch it if you get the opportunity. Is it long? Yes, but it is so fucking badass. Let's do some track highlights. The opener, Ecstasy of Gold. Metallica typically opens their concerts by playing at least they used to play the original recording of Ecstasy of Gold from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And Michael Kamen knew that, so he made his own arrangement of it, which I think was really cool. And personally, it's my favorite version. It's the first one that I heard. So powerful. Just so incredibly powerful. It's undeniable. Second track, Call of Cthulhu. I mean, what can you say? Call of Cthulhu as a track back in the day was friggin' awesome anyway. It was the first Metallica instrumental that was like, wow, this is a journey, you know? Even though the song isn't actually that complicated. And the orchestra took it to new heights to where it's just, wow. So much passion, so much drive, so much power, just wow. Master of Puppets, wow again. It's gonna be a whole lot of wow. There are certain parts in the original track that feel a little bit dead or lose a little bit of meaning at certain points. Riffs that kind of seem to go nowhere for a little bit, and Michael Kamen fills in these spots with such awesome melodies that just take it again to another level. The Memory Remains is easily my favorite version of this, especially with the crowd singing the chorus parts and the horns taking up that same melody, but just like juicing it a little bit in the chorus. No Leaf Clover, my number one Metallica song, of course. For Whom the Bell Tolls by itself on the original Ride the Lightning album is such a fucking overrated track. The S&M version is so fucking badass. So good. You are ready to go fucking take down all of the enemy forces with your bare fucking hands after that track. Damn. Epic as fuck. Wherever I May Roam, fabulous track. I actually think I do prefer the original in retrospect on this one, but this was still an amazing rendition. And One, wow. The orchestral performance of One was incredible. It's already a very touching song, and it's very hard on your heart, but with the orchestra added to it, again, tugs on those heartstrings even harder. So yeah, Metallica S&M, freaking badass album. I love it. Easily my favorite Metallica album. What do you think of the S&M album? Let me know in the comments below. And you know what? Let's play along together. Each day that I post one of these videos, I want you to pick an album that highly impacted you and post that in the comments. This is gonna be fun. I'll have a link to a playlist in the description so you guys can keep track of these videos as they come out, just in case you miss anything. And see you guys tomorrow. Rock on.